There's something deeply unnerving about elevators. These confined metal boxes suspend us between floors, between realms, if you believe the stories. Most of us step into them without a second thought, pressing buttons and expecting to arrive at our chosen destination. But what if those buttons didn't just move you vertically? What if, when pressed in a specific sequence, they could take you somewhere else? Somewhere you're not meant to go. This is the allure of the elevator game, an eerie urban legend that has fascinated and terrified thrill seekers for years. On the surface, it sounds like a harmless ritual, just a series of button presses in an elevator. But those who know the rules warn of grave consequences if you perform it incorrectly or fail to resist the temptations you'll encounter. They say it's a game, but there's nothing playful about it. It's a test, a ritual, and a journey into the unknown. But this sinister ritual isn't just a creepy internet myth. It's been linked to one of the most chilling and mysterious cases of the 21st century, the death of Elisa Lam. January 31st, 2013. Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old Canadian student, vanishes without a trace while staying at the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, a building already infamous for its dark history of violence, suicides, and hauntings. For weeks, her disappearance baffles investigators until her body is discovered in one of the hotel's rooftop water tanks. How she got there remains a mystery to this day. And then there's the video, the infamous elevator footage that turned a baffling disappearance into a global obsession. The grainy, unsettling clip shows Elisa stepping into an elevator and pressing multiple buttons. She waits, but the doors don't close. Instead, she starts behaving erratically, peeking out into the hallway, stepping in and out of the elevator as if she's being followed. She moves her hands in strange, almost unnatural gestures, as if communicating with something unseen. For those familiar with the elevator game, the parallels are hard to ignore. The game's rules are specific and unsettling. To play, you need a building with at least 10 floors and an elevator you can ride alone. Once inside, you press the buttons in a precise sequence. The 4th floor, then the 2nd, then the 6th, back to the 2nd, up to the 10th, and finally to the 5th. It's on the 5th floor where the real test begins. Legend says a woman might enter. She'll look normal at first, but something about her will feel off. You're warned, in no uncertain terms, to avoid looking at her and never speak to her. She's not human, and acknowledging her could doom you. If you've followed the steps correctly, pressing the button for the 1st floor should instead take you to another world. This other world is described as an empty, desolate version of our own. The lights may flicker, the air feels heavy, and there's an overwhelming sense of wrongness. You're utterly alone, except perhaps for the woman who entered on the 5th floor. Those who claim to have returned from this other world speak of confusion, fear, and a desperate need to retrace their steps perfectly to make it back. The rules are clear. Failing to follow the steps precisely could leave you trapped in this alternate dimension, with no way to return. Did Elisa Lam play the elevator game on that fateful night? The elevator footage suggests she might have been following the ritual's steps. The erratic button presses, the lingering at the open doors, the way she peers out nervously into the hallway. They all match the instructions of the game. But even if she wasn't playing the elevator game, the mystery remains just as chilling. Why did the elevator doors malfunction so eerily? Why did Elisa appear to be interacting with something or someone just out of sight? And how did she end up in a sealed water tank that required several layers of security to access? Skeptics point to explanations rooted in reality, a history of mental illness, possible foul play, or the influence of substances. But those explanations fail to answer every question. The supernatural theories persist, bolstered by the Cecil Hotel's dark history and the strange, unexplainable details surrounding Elisa's death. To this day, the case of Elisa Lam remains unsolved, and the elevator game remains a haunting enigma. Is it a harmless urban legend, a psychological experiment in fear, or a ritual that truly opens a door to somewhere else? One thing is certain: elevators are no longer just tools for transportation. They're a symbol of mystery, fear, and the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown. Would you step inside, knowing the risks? Would you press the buttons and ride the elevator to see what lies on the other side? And if you did, could you resist the urge to look at the woman on the 5th floor? For those brave or foolish enough to play, the elevator game promises an experience like no other. But remember this: once you cross into the other world, finding your way back might not be as simple as pressing a button.